All right. So yesterday we went over the workplace, kind of what's involved when you're in a workplace at a job. We talked about organizational structures, which were top-level management, CEOs, the board of directors above them. Then we have our managers, supervisors, and then our other employees. Okay. Now we're going to talk about whenever you do have a job, your employer's responsibility. Okay. And I try to relate a workplace employer responsibility almost kind of how teachers and administrators view school as far as responsibility terms go. Okay? Because one, when you're here at school, our number one job is to keep you safe. All right? To provide an environment where you're safe, you're free of harm, and you can learn. Okay? An inviting environment, and the same is going to happen whenever you get a job and you're at your workplace. All right? So that's the number one job for an employer's responsibility is keeping employees free from physical or mental harm. All right? Approximately 6,000 work-related deaths are reported each year. 5 million work-related injuries or illnesses are reported each year, and hundreds of work-related errors or accidents go unreported each year. Has anybody in here had a family member or somebody you know that has gotten hurt on the job at their workplace? Yep. Okay, a lot of us have. My grandfather actually passed away on the job, okay, when he was working. I never got to meet him. My mom was 17 or 18 when it happened. And so they took care of my mom's family for a while because of incident that happened at his workplace. Okay? So, and a lot of that deals with lawsuits, comes with compensation that businesses wasn't really ready for. Okay, so the number one thing they do is try to keep everything safe so they don't have to deal with those issues. All right, here's just some examples of safe and healthy work environments, adequate light, non-smoking work environment. Okay, that's kind of outdated a little bit. There's not a ton of places who have designated areas for smoking breaks. Did you guys know that once upon a time, way before I was in school, that even at school, you could have smoke breaks?
Also in the hospital.
Yep. You could have smoke breaks at school, which is absolutely crazy to think about, but at one point in time, that was something in our society that kind of went by. All right? Office equipment, and then the biggest thing is proper training for equipment and machinery. I have a good friend who's a forklift driver. Okay, you have to get all these qualifications, certifications to be a forklift driver, just like if you wanted to drive a truck, an 18-wheeler, then you have to have your CDL license. So they make sure that you get all the proper training before they let you get on any equipment or machinery. Okay, here's just some more. This is a table showing some safe and healthy work environments. Okay, substance abuse in the workplace negatively impacts organizations, may lead to the following: decreased productivity, safety concerns, and potentially dangerous situations. All right, there's a reason that I can't show up to work drinking, all right, or using drugs, and that's the reason that most employers, whenever they hire somebody, they make you pass a what before you get hired? A drug test, all right? And especially if you're working a job where you're around machinery or equipment or maybe in a little more hazardous work environment, they will constantly give drug tests in those jobs because they got to make sure nobody is using any sort of substance abuse, so it protects everybody else that works there, all right? A response to that is some employers may send you to rehab. Some employers may just talk with you and tell you what kind of danger you're putting yourself and everybody else in. And most every employer is going to have a handbook that addresses substance abuse issues. All right. Due to employee rights, employers may not do the following: ask an employee if they have ever taken illegal drugs, or subject an employee to drug testing not required of others, okay? I just can't call, if all of you guys worked for me and this was a business, I couldn't just say, you know what, I don't really like Jake. I don't like Jake, I don't really like him being around here, so I'm just gonna drug test him and not anybody else, okay? All right, that is wrong, can't do it, illegal, all right, I can't do that. So if I'm gonna give drug tests, I'm gonna have to give it to everybody, or I'm gonna have to give it to a large majority of us, because I can't just pick one or two out, all right? That's protected by the ADA, all right, the Americans with Disabilities Act. We've talked about that before in this class. We're dealing with workplace etiquette, diversity, and a lot of those things, okay? All right, so we won't go over that as much. Here's the EEOC. We've talked about that before too, okay? He's responsible for the fair and equitable treatment of employees in regard to the following: hiring, firing, employee promotions, minimum wage standards, and sexual harassment. All right. Talks about the physical limitations. All right, the physical limitations. So let's say somebody wanted to be a correctional officer in a jail. Okay. Do you think that they may need to be in shape? All right, be able to handle, I guess, inmates that they would be dealing with. All right. So there's physical limitations to other jobs. All right. That prohibits employers from discriminating against people with a disability, okay? So, with that being said, although there may be a physical limitation with the job, I cannot discriminate if I'm hiring somebody because they have a disability, all right? That's covered by the ADA. All right, FMLA, employers when dealing with chronic health problems of employees and family members. An employer may be legally required to give employees unpaid time off to care for a seriously ill family member, to recuperate from their own serious illness, or to care for a new child. Okay? Some jobs have maternity and paternity leave, some don't. My wife we're expecting a baby, and it may be today, I don't know. But in the next couple days, all right, so she's probably going to have to use some FMLA after her maternity leave is over with. Okay? Here's some provisions. All right. Employer responsibility exercise and nutrition programs. Okay? They may provide exercise facilities at your workplace. Okay? Does anybody have a family member who works at a SIPCO in here, by any chance? There's a lot of people from Cordova who work at a SIPCO. It's in Birmingham. They have exercise and workout facilities. They have a dentist there at the job site. They have a doctor. They have daycare. Okay, so that employer provides all of these things. Yes, Jordan. Okay. Yeah. So he probably understands a lot of that. Okay, and then another thing they can do is include mental health days and paid time off. All right. Here's some of the same things, talking about employer safety. All right, here's some of the training methods that they do. A lot of employers, the first week that you're hired, you're going to go to some sort of orientation. They're going to go over all the policies, the procedures, the handbook, all right? Everything that they want you to know your first couple days on the job, all right? That way you know, and if something ever happens, they have it documented. Hey, we took them through this training. We told them what they can and cannot do, and then they violate it, okay? So written manuals, training seminars, memos and emails, safety contracts, performance reviews, and practice sessions or simulations. Okay, these are all safety training methods. Safety regulations, they have to adhere to all guidelines and regulations. Report violations, okay, you have to report if there is a violation of safety, okay. Follow established procedures and wear protective gear or clothing, all right. Whenever you go in the science lab here, what do you have to wear most of the time? Goggles, yep. You can't have on flip-flops, anything that exposes a lot of skin, okay. All right, OSHA, okay. that is something you'll hear a lot as you, thank you. I have another good friend who works at HTNA, which is right off down here off of Industrial Boulevard. Okay, some of you probably have family members that work there. All right. OSHA is a big deal. Okay, they're going to come in to your workplace and make sure that there are no safety hazards. All right. A lot of managers and supervisors kind of have a negative context when they talk about OSHA. All right. But it's there for your safety as an employee. Okay, they're looking out for you. Managers, supervisors, some top level management may not like it, okay, because it can add more work to them. They may see that, hey, this equipment that you're using is very old, it's leaking oil, okay, this is unsafe. So now you're going to have to buy a new piece of equipment, all right? But it's there to protect Lucas. If Lucas is working with that equipment and something goes wrong and he gets hurt, all right, then they could always think back and say, man, we should have bought a new one. Right? Well, OSHA's going to make them do that. They're going to take the old piece of equipment out, or if there's a spot in the workplace that's unsafe, they're going to find it and make sure that it gets taken care of. All right? Regulate standards. Here's just some of the things that they look at: noise levels, air impurities, equipment regulations, proper tools and safety gear, hazardous substances, and dangerous work conditions. Okay? And that's the reason that whenever you see guys on the side of the road that they have on the, they normally have on what, a vest, a really bright colored vest. Do you think that they always want to wear that? No. Okay? But they're made to wear that. All right? And if they don't, their employer could get in trouble, which vice versa leads into them being in trouble with their employer if they do not wear it. All right? Okay? Here's the enforcement schedule. It's based on the 5-item priority list. Imminent danger, serious accidents which have occurred in the last 40 days, current employee complaints, inspections of targeted industries displaying a high injury ratio, and random inspections. Okay? That's when you're going to see OSHA show up